Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Somebody can start Ram Nam now.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
All are keeping quiet.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Swamiji. Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Where were we now?
10 points, Swamiji. In-depth study of IQG.
The in-depth study. So the first 10 points we took up. Correct. The first one was go to the source of all sources. Great void. One devotee wrote to us through his email that everything we are convinced about it, but how do we ensure that we remember him at the time of leaving? Something like that. Papa is providing everything, just like the Pushpaka Vimana, to take us. But how do we ensure that we get into the Pushpaka Vimana? Especially at the time of leaving the body. It's a very, very pertinent question. Very important for all of us. So what comes to our mind is, unless we train now and here, we may not be able to remember him throughout our waking state. Accept it. We have not trained our mind so far. So at least we will try, as much as possible. Right now, instead of postponing, instead of thinking that we will do it later, from here onward we will do that. Instead of all these languages, we will try now and here. That should be the one quotation of Papa. Again, we are guided by his words. God is eternal happiness. Man's quest is happiness. And his quest is God. He seeks this happiness outside, while all the time it is within him. His very being, God's very being, is everlasting bliss. He is not a mere body, but the immortal truth, the Satchidananda Atman. Atman and God are one. Verily, all are one God in so many forms, God alone is. To realize him is to attune your entire being with him. God is love, God is power, God is knowledge. He is the beloved of your heart and dwells therein as infinite bliss. He is almighty power that by his will causes all activity to take place in the universe. He is eternal knowledge, illuminating all things and still remaining over a witness for the cosmic manifestation. He reflects in your mind, senses, and body. So if you really aspire to realize him, a very important portion of this article. If you really aspire to realize him, you ought to carry on all your activities, mental and physical, with the sole object of knowing and experiencing him in all planes of existence. Then only you will be free from the bondage of the flesh and know that you are the deathless Spirit God. Now all fears, doubts and sorrows that beset your life will be dispelled. Truly speaking, they are unreal in the sense that they are self-created through ignorance. The fact is that each one of us is the embodiment of the divine, the radiant expression of the all-inclusive, all-transcendent Godhead. Guru's grace and Ramnam, or any other name of God, are the unfailing and the easiest means to rise from the human to the divine consciousness and to the ultimate spiritual perfection. So the real clue has been given. Now we don't know how far we can live up to this. So if you really aspire to realize him, you ought to carry on all your activities, mental and physical, with the sole object of knowing and experiencing him in all planes of existence. So how to bring the dimension, now and here. So each one of us will try in our own way. Suiting to our equipment. So instead of telling the right from the moment we get up till we retire to bed, okay, that's as an ideal, okay. But practically, we will try as much as possible, At the subtle level, we try to somehow develop this awareness. Not at the gross level. So when we handle everything with a touch of love, we are bringing the God dimension. Because love means, it's a feeling of oneness. When we handle it with a touch of excellence, perfection, we are trying to bring the God dimension. Because excellence means pouring out the entire effort, initiative, attention, everything at the exclusion of any other. We handle it everything with a touch of dedication. You have given me everything. You gave me a body, mind, intellect, equipment, the sense of individuality. You provided through your own two departments of creation, the Mother Nature and society, whatever that I need. And now you are making use of this equipment to involve, to work out your will. That is dedication. And finally, when we try to bring in the touch of gratitude, gratitude comes only when we remember it. Everything you have facilitated, nothing I can call it as my own. So this touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of dedication, touch of gratitude. When we try to bring in this dimension in as many times as possible in the day, then we are trying to at least live up to what Papa asks us to. You ought to carry on all your activities, mental and physical, with the sole object of knowing and experiencing Him in all the planes of existence. So we cannot postpone, no? We cannot take a decision from tomorrow onwards, I will do it. Now and here. So in Quest of God, in study, when Papa was able to do that, in 2 years' time, and he tested, God made him to test himself by throwing himself out in the open. In all activities. So probably now we feel that every now and then we go through the in-depth study of Quest of God. And we try to go through that points, that relate to this. You remember, stress to spirituality. Stress to serenity, yeah. There every chapter has got some points. Now, previously we were doing it was a part of our study. Now we are entering into the practical side. Practical side means when Papa threw himself out into the open, how did he bring the dimension of Ram? What was the methodology he was adopting? under trying moments. Somebody is talking.
Can't hear properly, Swamiji.
Huh?
Can't hear properly.
Here.
But
I'll go and mute Chandranandama's computer. 1 minute.
Pardon?
Shraddha is gone to check, Swamiji.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute.
but we are able to hear.
Are you able to hear now?
Yeah, for us there is
Yes,
no.
Swamiji, but there was a crosstalk, so I couldn't hear the words properly.
கிராஸ் டாக்ல மைக் ஆன் ஆயிருக்கு. இப்ப ஸ்ரத்தா போயிருக்காங்க அவங்க அந்த மைக்க வந்து மியூட் பண்றதுக்கு. ஆனந்தாஸ்ரம் மைக் சுந்தரானந்தாஜியோட வாய்ஸ் கேக்குது அதனால. இல்ல ஸ்ருதி ஸ்ரத்தா ஸ்ருதியோட மைக் ஆன் இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ரெண்டு ஓபன் இருக்கு. Yes. Now it's okay. Now okay.
No, okay, Swamiji.
Okay. Acha. Now, this is a very, very, very important thing. Papa is driving us to the practical side of our whole sadhana. Whatever we have read, whatever we have tried to assimilate, all these things should zero to what? Zero to bring in the God dimension behind everything. It is nice to hear and reproduce that we should do it right from the moment we get up. We have all heard this, but we have not been able to do it. So now, each one of us will prescribe a technique, at least for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, How do we try to bring in this dimension? So first of all, we should know that He is within us. And He is within us in the form of what? Then we remember He said life is the okay. So we know about something about life because of which we all feel we are now. So that feeling comes from His presence. And all activities are possible because of this life. So even the effort to become aware of His presence is also His. Like that, we try to devise something. Initially, we can say 5 minutes when we are relatively not in a highly disturbed place. And not where there is total silence. So we try to experiment this, at least for a short time, when we are relatively engaged, at the same time not too much engaged. We have some pause moments in between to remind us that we are trying now. By His grace, He is making us to try and enjoy His presence. And whenever I get disconnected, the me and mind comes due to various preoccupation. So at that time, we can take refuge in the Nama also. Be the period ever so small, So that means this satsang is truly now directing us to really experiment and to convince ourselves that this is possible. So far we have been hearing, reproducing. But have we felt His presence? It is easy to read, to memorize, and to reproduce. We thought that all of us are doing it. Control C, Control V, that we are doing it. But still we feel, they are nowhere toward the goal to be achieved. So that is why, 2 days back he prompted us to go back to the inquest of God quintessence. And there were, out of 198 points we unearthed during our in-depth study from chapter number 1 to chapter number 37. It's difficult for us to remember, so we chose out of it 23 points and took it up. Again, if it slips into a mechanical exercise, academic exercise, intellectual exercise, in these 2-3 days, were we able to feel his presence in some form, for a minute, for a two, for a second, something like that. So the first point was, go to the source of all sources, great void. That is enough. It is from the great void even these words are coming. These words are nothing but thoughts expressed. So the thoughts owe to the origin of great void, the silence, the serenity.
Swamiji, during Satsang period, we feel that inexplicably we are with him, Swamiji. That during Satsang period, we feel that inexplicably we are with him.
But after that it goes,
That is the problem, Swamiji.
So how do we do that? How do we handle it? What you said is right. During these, because the undisturbed time of this 1 hour, when all of us are focusing their entire attention on this, keenness in this, there is an intense desire to live up to Papa's teachings. So to some extent we feel that we are one with him, at least to know that he is guiding us from within and without. But as soon as the session is over, suddenly do we feel we are back to square one, or nothing is there? If not, how do we do that? This is the practical side. Because it is high time now we try to develop some formula. We don't want to go along with the routine. All purpose of going through the routine, everything is okay, provided we get a glimpse of his presence inside. So that at the time of leaving the body, I must become one with him, I don't want even any more janma that will take me away from him. I intellectually realize now that I have got this body, mind, intellect equipment because of my previous karma. And because of his grace, though the karmic influence was keeping me away from him, by purely his grace, he also saw to it that his presence is made felt in our mind through some way or other, either chanting of Ramnam or reflection or something like that. That is why we are all sitting now and hearing it. But we want now exclusively be in that. If one more janma comes, we are sure that our attention will be definitely getting dissipated again. So we are assured by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita that at the time of leaving, Antakalecha mameva smaran mukta galevar. I tell you, doubtlessly, you will reach me. So I must remember him, remember him, remember him. Even if there's some physical agonies he makes me to go through, still I should be able to feel his presence, that he is making. I have no choice, How will the last moment will be? I have no choice. But he now, because of his grace, he now makes us to pray for that at the moment. When we are relatively free from the bodily pains, or even if some of us have got, at least it is on the bearable state, and he makes us to feel that we should try pine for his remembrance. So I must somehow try to feel his presence. Initially, a small period in my daily routine, which can be slowly stretched. And one thing we are always reminded of the assurance that when we take one step, he will help us to go further. So with this background again, we go back to in quest of God. There should be some instrumental cause for our activities, Reflection can be done not in the blankness of the mind. So we need something with which we try to do this reflection. So that's why he is prompting us again to go back to the inner study of In Quest of God, where at that time he made us to go intensely deep into the subject. And so the first and foremost thing that came out was great void. So now he wants us to know that everything comes from the great void, including these words. Now all our physical organs, the mind, everything is functioning. That is why we are taking part in this satsang. All these have come from him only. By his will causes all activities that take place. By his knowledge, he illuminates all things and still remains as the witness. So he reflects in your mind, senses, and body. These are the words of Papa, who has scaled the heights and experiencing his presence. They definitely guide us. So let us try. Why not we try to understand more and more this great void? Understand means not intellectually, again. Reflection. Reflection, result of the reflection comes out in the form of experience, and probably in the form of that experience is also comes out in the form of words. But what is important is the experience. So reflection on the word, great one. Please think over. Please reflect, again not think. Papa, in the first chapter, he brings this indwelling and all-pervading reality as the great void. Today, we are asking ourselves, have we reflected sufficiently to imbibe, to assimilate, to absorb the theme contained in that word? Please think over. This particular effort will definitely open up something in us. Great void. What do you feel?
Swamiji, Pranam
Yes.
Swamiji,
Pranam.
that feeling, experience or feeling of void is beyond our imagination.
Correct.
So we cannot even imagine or
Yes.
visualize
With the mind, we are
what
unable to go
our
further,
state
Swami.
will be.
Yeah.
With the mind,
So
we are
when
unable to go further.
we sit for meditation and all, and if our thoughts stop for a while, something, we feel actually scared because we are not experiencing either bliss or even outer consciousness. Do we lose our sanity? We feel like that if we become blank.
The doubt, okay, doubt will come definitely. But does not this word great void point out to our very existence?
I mean, that void unnecessary.
The one factor that now says that it is leading to a blankness where an anxiety wells up, whether I am losing myself, So now, perfectly all right, but where from that exist? It has come from existence, A feeling of existence only gives us apprehension. Where from that feeling of existence comes? That is the great void. And one more clue Papa now gives, that we chant mentally Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Then we stop and start next Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. We are trying to reflect the interval between the experience we have directly experienced now. What happens after chanting one and before starting the other one? So these are some of the trial we can make. Whether it helps us or not, it depends upon a person. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. The mantra, the Om Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram is coming out in the form of the sound.
Swamiji,
Who is aware of it? Where from it comes? How does it float? Are we in a position to identify the gap between two mantras, two words of the mantras? Think. Try, not think. Try. So that this is not the only method. This could be one of the methods.
Yes, Swamiji, when we do this kind of a slow chanting, the only feeling is that I want to be in that for some more time. I don't want to be disturbed.
Okay. Later on, the clarity will come that when we chant slowly or not, when the mind is thinking on various other objects or situation, this base, this existence, this awareness still is there. Because during the first, when we try to understand that the slow chanting Ram Nam owes its origin to that inexplicable feeling of serenity, of peace, or stillness, and when we try to stabilize it, then we will know that everything comes from that. So we might be able to stretch it even when we are involved in any activities. Not at the grosser level, but at this subtle level. So each one of us have to try in our own way. We were looking up to the external prop all these years. We have not been able to. Now the time has come that we devise our own method. That is how all spiritual masters have scaled their heights. That also we now realize.
Yes, Swamiji.
Now leave everything and try. Try to feel, try to experience the gap between whether that word is all right or not okay. The gap between the two words of the mantra or the two mantras. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Somehow the assurance comes that when we try this, we are moving toward the great world. Thought expressed in the form of mantra, thought expressed in the form of the sound of the mantra, comes from that base, which is there, which has been there at all times. And it has been Christian named as, labeled as great void. So that has been with us, that is with us. Whether we make noises, whether we don't make noises, whether we make continuous noises of the mind called thoughts, or thoughts in a scattered form, the disturbance in a scattered form, but whatever happens, that base is always with us. With that, suppose we start reflecting on these methods and doing it actually, probably we may get a glimpse of the great world. We say when after the satsang we are back to square one, that means again it stays at the intellectual level. If it is at the experiential level, it cannot move. Suppose we have tasted honey. The moment you think about honey, that experience comes before you, na? But suppose I give a lecture of the honey and we have not tasted, naturally you may enjoy all the explanations about the honey. But the moment we stop, we are back to square one. So when the mind says, I am getting a glimpse through this satsang, is it only because of the intellectual assimilation? Initially, the mind will interpret nothing wrong in it. So now we are trying to go beyond that boundary, and in order to arrest all dissimilar thought, we are holding on to the holy and all powerful Ramna. And we devise a particular type of chanting by which the base is experienced, not known. Once or twice or thrice we may not be able to, but we will definitely be able to get a glimpse. And we want that glimpse. Because the moment...
What intellectual thinking, other thoughts would not have come, Swamiji.
No, but
Yes.
that
If
you say,
intellectual thinking is there, other thoughts would have come, no. So it is not intellectual, I think.
so we devise some other method, whatever is possible. So Ramnam chanting for a long time, and then slowly shift our concentration on Ramnam chanting, and then slowly make it slow chanting, slowly make it as slow chanting at the mental stage, and then slowly make it as slow chanting at the mental plane, and then trying to feel the gap between the... Somewhere we have to do,
Swamiji,
Uh,
Kala feels when I sit for meditation, first initially yes, for some time the mind is quiet. Then various thoughts comes. What she does is, what Kala does is, immediately she puts the question to Papa. Papa, why are you doing like this? அப்படி கேட்டப்போ கேட்குறேன் அது கரெக்ட் தானே. அப்போ வந்து கொஞ்ச நேரம் திருப்பி திருப்பி அதே கேட்டுட்டு அப்புறமா கொஞ்சம் மனசு அடங்கி திரும்பி அதுல போறது மெடிடேஷன்ல சுவாமிஜி.
Any method like that, any method. If that works out, very good. Or if the another method is that if the thoughts are harassing, taking us away, just get up. Stop the train of thought by some methods. Like go to the wash basin, pour some cold water on your face. Come back and sit down. Some shlokas, some mantras, some bhajan.
Okay.
We do that.
Okay.
Again we come back. We look at the photo of any Mahatmas or deities who have inspired us. So all these things will break the outgoing tendency.
Yes, yes,
But
yes,
like that,
Swamiji.
some method, some bhajan we would have heard. We try to recollect. We do the humming. So that means, at least that thought has been broken. Now we have to do something to get back to our... so whatever we use, that should not become a burden to us. Yeah.
Yes.
So immediately we come back and start doing this.
Yes, Swamiji.
And Papa says the Nama itself is sufficient, all sufficient. So with that bhavana, we are all doing Nama, but that bhavana has not come. That is why we are struggling. So now that bhavana, the Nama will make me aware of the great void within me.
Yes,
Nama.
Swami. Yes, Swamiji.
Try some method. So that is a great point, the great void. And the second one is also subservience to higher power. Any method that suits us. We remember, Kujela going there, Sudama going from Porbandar, from his Gramam to Dwaraka to have the darshan of the Lord. He did not ask anything, but everything was given to him. So that story, somewhere in our mind, suppose we dwell on it, the joy we get by remembering it. And in that process, all other thoughts are driven away unknowingly. Because we enjoy that. The words of Uddhava and the words of Lord Krishna to Uddhava. Like that, anything. So to replace the present tendency of the mind to go out is methods. And then finally, that also is taken. And during our pause moments in a day, we try to bring in this dimension as much time as possible. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. two things. One is this great void, the other one is subservience to that great power. I am what I am only because of you. I know that, but I don't know that. The me and mind comes and takes over, refuses to give the seat. So subservient. I have seen many people dropping the body, the sense of individuality, once and for all, it is erased. Including Param Puja Papas, Param Puja Matajis, Param Puja Swamijis. We have seen that, no? So one day this body will also go. And this platform provided by the body for the body, mind, intellect, it is not there. So like that, you have made it possible for me to float and pray to you and to enjoy your presence. So you have given me a life, now it is becoming clear to enjoy your presence. Because this life is transient. After some time or any day it can go. People who are attending this program, one by one they are quitting the scene. We have seen. So one day we will also quit. So before that I would like to become that full. That means to become aware of your presence. Why don't you please make me aware? All Mahatmas were there who have inspired me, who have been inspiring me also. All bhajans, devotional songs, the Mahima of deities and gurus, which you made me to hear. All these things are giving me positive experience. But you have not made me to feel that I am full, I am that. Please, why don't you? Like that, during the cross moments, whenever the mind is sattvic, it may not become sattvic, but throughout our 19 hours. Whenever it becomes sattvic, we try to catch that opportunity.
It's like a dialogue. No, Swami, it's like a dialogue too. It's like a dialogue with him, no, Swamiji. Dialogue mari namakke.
Correct. We devise some method that is more important, suitable to us, suitable to our equipments. So far we have been trying to adopt the suggestions, proposals given by others, including our masters. But we have not been able to make use of it fully. It is guiding us, no doubt, still, but it has not actually put us on the rails. Somehow we get stunted by appreciating them, by praising them, by telling about them. That's all. But what they enjoyed, what they revealed, which is also in us, has not been felt by us, experienced by us. So we will leave everything there. And now we are he and yes, only me, the sense of individuality, the aspirant, the bhakta, and he only are there now. And then try.
Swamiji, Nama is supposed to be subtle, very subtle. So Papa himself says that when you chant, you go into a super conscious state. So that subtle or light feeling and madri in kadikkiradillangu.
When we hear this or read this, we immediately form a concept, based upon that textual meaning. That is why we say we forget about it, no? Now before us only he and we are there. The Bhakta and the Bhagavan is there. Nobody else. And we are now, through the dialogue, we are trying to move inch by inch. Papa, that word, again I'm bringing Papa because we are used to it. However much we don't want to, but it is. God does not need an intermediary. If you think God can talk through Ramdas, he can talk through you as well. So that you cannot accuse him of partiality. Switch on your wire for direct communication. Why do you deny him in your heart? So as soon as the intermediary comes, wells up in our heart, immediately we try this, we hear this. You have told me through my guru that there is no need for an intermediary. So kindly remove all these intermediaries. You make me to switch on our direct communication. So that I don't deny you. When I go in search for some external prop, I am denying you, whereas you are within me. That means me and Bhagavan should be there now. He is pushing us to a stage when he is making us free from all the appendages, prefix, suffix, prepositions. Only me and him. Me, the devotee, and he, the Lord. And that Lord stands for great void, that Lord stands for higher power. So subservience to a higher power means there is nothing in between to take me away from the awareness of him. The moment I bring any intermediary into the picture, unknowingly I am putting a curtain before the Almighty, before the indwelling reality. It is highly subjective, but is it becoming clear?
Yes, Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swami.
Yes.
So let us concentrate on this. That only I must reach a stage where only you and me are there. Enable me to feel that. Then I have switched on the wire. The moment my thought goes out, either to a outer guru or a scriptural declaration or something like that, unknowingly we are putting a veil, a curtain between us and him. So Papa's revelation comes because he has experienced it. That is why he answered like that. God does not need an intermediary. If you think God can talk through Ramdas, he can talk through you as well. Because you cannot accuse him of partiality. Beautiful word. Switch on your wire for direct communication. Why do you deny him in your heart? So it zeroes to this, me and him, me and him.
Swamiji,
Ah.
is Nama chanting also intermediate?
Pardon?
Is Nama chanting also is like a intermediate in God and me?
No, Nama chanting. Yeah. Nama chanting, when we treat it as a means to reach, yes, it is an intermediary. But when we chant that he is making me to chant, I am chanting the name of one who is within me, then that connection is not there. He is making me to chant, So the he comes out in the form of the Nama. So when we say me and him, only me and Nama.
Swamiji, in the glory of the divine name, Papa says the name is the link between devotee and God. It brings the devotee face to face with him and enables him to realize oneness with him.
Correct. That clears. So read it again and again and again and again. And so that now the distance between us and him gets reduced. And Nama serves the platform to feel his presence. Then in that case, we will not name Nama as the intermediary. Words are there, no doubt. But here the meaning of the word deletes the existence of the word. That means the experience. The sweetness when we hear. Now, for example, when Papa says sweetness of Ramnam, why you and I are not in a position to enjoy the sweetness? Because it has not become an experience. So when experience comes, this word will not be there. In us, the word will be there, but to us, the word is no longer, the word has done its job. And later on, we come to know the word represents that experience. Good. We are moving toward that. So we read at least 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and whenever it is possible, suddenly that pause moments, we try to remove everything in between us. Only he and me and him, he and me and him, he and me and him. Like that we keep on asserting to ourselves. And then what happens, let us see. Let us not now conceive, Let us not bring out the words. But let us have that experience. We have also found that people who have scaled the heights, first they got the experience and then shared. So this particular word throws some light. So if you, God is love, power and knowledge. He is the beloved of your heart, dwells therein as infinite bliss. He is almighty power. That by his will causes all activities to take place in the universe. He is eternal knowledge, illuminating all things and still remaining over a witness of the cosmic manifestation. He reflects in your mind, senses and body. And that means the stage comes, even this very act of reflection is made possible because of him. Even the very act of reflection is made possible because of him. So we come closer and closer now. So today's take-home message of Satsang, Papa gives us, finally he says, you concentrate on one or two aspects like, great void, subservience to a higher power. and also try to remove the anything that comes in between. All these things that were coming between, and we were still keeping ourselves away from it unknowingly. So the intermediary also we will try to remove, even if it is for the smallest, period. Nobody else. Me and he and me. When we take that initiative, mysteriously the guidance will come from within. Again, we need not look up to something, some explanation, something from outside. That we had enough, For the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we have been digesting the same, like the chewing gum. We have been doing it and it has stopped giving us the juice. Chewing is only going on. So we will now stop that. Me and him, he and me and him, he and me. That there is no intermediary. And let us see for ourselves how he takes us forward. So when we meet on day after tomorrow, same time, all of us must have been blessed with something of it. So we pray to him. Now you have taken us thus far, please take us a little more. Please. We are now in Wayanad today, we have reached Wayanad. We are sitting in the Sadhana Kutir. It's wonderful. Ambience is wonderful, surrounded by lush green atmosphere. And nobody else is there. Excellent ambience. And so how does it happen? Only by his grace. So the vibrations that he now generates from here surely will have its own impact. So let us all try as much as possible. Hariyo. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Shri Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Swamiji,
Yes.
The name first whitens the mind and then instills into it an intoxicating sweetness. The name first quietens the mind and then instills into it an intoxicating sweetness. So the name itself will give the sweetness.
Try it.
Yes,
Okay. By the time we meet after tomorrow, somebody will be able to say something. I'm sure. Hari Om.
Hariyo, Pranam Swami.
Hari Om.
Pranam Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Pranam, Swamiji.
Okay.
Pranam. Pranams to one and all. Hari Om.